Okay, let's just start fresh. Cool, we got 5 whole people up in here. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you, folks, for joining. I am running over cables. Okay. Oh, it's 9:01. All right. Hey, Wayne is in here. What's up, Wayne? Thank you. Thank you for joining. Oh, I'm on my phone here. I could see who's in. I gotta get better at this. All right. Cool. So yeah, I could see my chat from here, which is awesome. That's lovely. Shang-Chi's up in here. Thank you, Shang-Chi. Fellow animator. Cool, man. All right, well, I guess we better get started. For all the punctual people out there. You got to be fair to those folks. But, hey, Marcus is in here. Thank you, Marcus. Thanks for joining. I feel like that what show was that? I see Marcus. I see Shang-Chi. I see Wayne. Hi, guys. Anyways, what I'm here to do is to show you how I made some animations, or this one particular animation in Marvel Strike Force. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mike Lego, or Ligo, if you want to be correct about it. And I'm an animator on Marvel Strike Force. I've been animating for, since 2002, so that's quite a long time in the games industry. And right now I'm really enjoying my time here with Scopely, working on Marvel Strike Force. If you don't know me, I have a martial arts background. That martial arts background was inspired by a video game background, Street Fighter. And that actual martial arts has helped me in animation because, you learn about your body and poses and the physics and dynamics of the body. Oh, Beverly's here. What's up? We got a family reunion in here. Thank you, family, for joining. I really appreciate it. You can see a slice of what your cousin Mikey does for his living instead of doing nursing. I almost was a nurse. Of course, the Filipino families out there get the pressure, but you can't blame them. It's a solid profession. I have a lot of family in the medical field, so we appreciate all the nurses and everybody in the healthcare fields helping people out. So anyway, yeah, you also see what Mikey does is talk too much. So, okay, first of all, we have an animation. We're looking at Ultimus here, which is kind of like the big bad guy in Marvel Strike Force. And he needed an animation way back in the day, and they said it's a single target, it's a fatality, and we can pretty much like lift him off the ground. The design team kind of comes up with with the idea for the kit. And okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. So design team, you're like, what's a designer? And a designer has a lot of different meanings in many different fields. But in video games, for video games in particular, designers are usually considered the gameplay designers, or the ones who craft the fun through numbers, and they pretty much just make sure the game is fun, make sure everything is running smoothly, and testing the balance of things. They also come up with the abilities. So for this guy, they're like, hey, could you come up with this fatality? They didn't know what it was going to be, but I shot this reference here for us, and hopefully you could see it. Let's go a little more than half size. All right, so all right, so hey, what? Rachel's in here too. My cousins are here. Thank you so much for joining me. Speaking of family in the healthcare profession, Rachel is one of those. So thank you. Thank you for coming. I'm just showing everybody, if you just joined us, I'm Mike Ligo, an animator on Marvel Strike Force, and I want to show you how we make animations on Marvel Strike Force. I got my cousins confused. Please forgive me, cousin. Oh, it's the wrong Ray. See, it's Ray. I saw Ray. Oh my god, I feel terrible. This is how you fail your own stream with your family. You call them by the wrong name. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for all coming in. I see my aunties here. Cousins are here. Anyway, we'll catch up later. But first, let me show you the video I shot of myself, kind of like pretending to be Ultimus, right? This is the right Ray. We got the two Rays up in here. Thank you. Rays, you know, we have my two cousins, Rachel, Raylene, and my coworker Ray. So we got Rays all up in here. Thank you all for coming. So what I usually do is I take an animation and I think, hey, you know what, I'm gonna try to film it and see if I can get anything out of this. So we know that Ultimus is a bad guy. Here we want him to be picking somebody up by the face and like charging up his little hand laser beam that he has, and then just like boot somebody out into outer space. And you've probably seen it, but I'll basically show you how we get from this video here to this video here. So this is kind of what it looks like in the end. So you go from that video where I'm just like, yeah, hey, nothing, to boom, something like that with all the fixins. And all the fixins in this case would mean the VFX, the sound, the like an environment. This is not an accurate representation of what it would look like in the game. This is closer to what it would look like, you know, with, you know, the proper shininess on his arm, you know, the right lighting and the right VFX, and also with an enemy in his hand. So I could show you the hit reactions another time, but that's essentially, he ragdolls, and if there's something there, he'll actually run into it, which is pretty funny. Anyway, I'll show you how I get from the video to that end product. Well, it's really going to be like draw a couple of circles and then draw the rest of the owl, because in fact, animation does take a long time to do. I'll show you how I break down my video and what poses I choose and why, and basically how to pose in a 3D software package. So that was it. That was the demo you saw, what we're going to go to and from today on my little cooking show. But it's not cooking, it's animation. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you. Thank you, Christendo. Family coming in, showing support. Much love. Much love to my family. Thank you. Wow, 16 viewers. Hey now. That's not even a fraction of my family. So I've already pre-animated this beam. This is stuff that I've had before, but the first thing I'll do is figure out, yeah, this is what he's gonna do, right? We've come up with the concept, film it, and then try to pick out my cool poses. So if I were to look at this, I'd say, all right, in this particular animation, he actually runs up to the dude. So he'll be coming out of a run. And I think that's why I kind of have my feet together. For those of you, if you're coming out of a run, it's really easy to blend if your feet are together first. It's a little video game trick. But if you start your blend with feet together, it kind of looks like they step into the animation they're going into. So we'll see here. But first, let me show you what pose I'd choose, right? So first pose, I'd probably do something like this out the gate, right? So he's maybe got either feet together or he's getting ready to do the grab. And let me show you how we pretty much start our day here. After I grab my coffee, after I get latest in Perforce, I load up my file usually, but it doesn't look like this. It looks more like this. This is what we call in the industry a T-pose, or more like an A pose here. So normally when you have your character, you get it like this and you're like, so what do I do all day, Mikey? Do you just play video games? Anak, do you just play video games all day? No, not all day. Some parts of the day, but most of the time I'm basically posing my little dolls. I don't know if you could see. I have a little posable action figure back here, but thank you, Ray. Yeah. So, okay, this is how I pose my dolls. All right. Normally, these dolls I pose all day have these little, I guess you could call it like, marionettes around them. Basically, these are curves that lets me grab them and manipulate them. So he could go, just kind of like rotate everything, rotate, move. My whole day is rotating and moving. So let me show you the relevant things on my screen, right? So with animation, you have multiple poses. Multiple poses over time equal an animation. So if I were to just load, I don't need to load that. So let me show you simply here. At frame -15, actually let's take everything to 0. It's a lot easier when you don't work with like negative values. The first number you want to work with is 0. Anyway, I'm gonna set a key by pressing S on all of these controls. Todos los, I don't control something. I don't know anyway. Controllers, all the controllers, right? So you get them all, you select it, add a key. At frame 0, in our game, we run the game at 30 frames per second. So that means every second of gameplay, you're going to see 30 poses that somebody kind of has to make to create each animation. So over 30 frames, that'll be 1 second. Let me just hide this stuff because it's kind of annoying. Thanks. All right, so you have this. Oh, I think I kind of wanted to try some music. If it's royalty free. No. Okay, I don't know. I think this is so funny. Maybe it's, was it this one? All right, let's just for some backgroundage, not too loud. Let's set a mood here. All right. So posing over 30 seconds. Let's just say in 1 second, I want this guy. Oh no, what's that? I want him to squat it out, right? Just squat it out. Let me delete these keys because I'm tired of this beam showing up. Okay. I'm just going to delete the beam image. So now it's invisible forever. Okay. I'm going to make him squat. Boom! Yeah, actually, Shorty's going to get a little lower than that. So at frame 0, he's up here. And at frame 30, I set a key on the hips of him down here. And so if I press play in 1 second, Shorty gets low. And my cousin wants to see him twerk. I'm not sure if Marvel would be happy with seeing one of their most powerful bad guys in their universe getting down low. And I mean, if I were to make him twerk, this is what I would do. I would grab this hip bone and then just do something like this. But immature people would do that. I would never do that at work. So hey, anyway, so that's how you animate twerking. No, just kidding. So all right, so that's the basics of animation. If I wanted to make him, if my job was make Thanos squat in 1 second, boom, cash money, would have got paid. Export the animation, check it into the game, and you're good. But sadly, that's not what I've been tasked with. But I'll lower this a little bit. Anyway, okay, first pose, like I said, it's gonna be this guy over here, Mr. Trucker hat backwards. So okay, there's a reason why I wear trucker hats and stuff, and why I wear. Oh, cool, sweet. So I wear my hats also because it helps me with alignment of my head. So I don't have to, basically look at where my eyeballs are. The hat kind of will point in the direction of my head, and it just helps keep, have markers on me. Ideally, I'd wear pants with stripes on it. But today I'm in my flip-flops This is a very hot building we were working in, the Black Welder building. And it had a really finicky AC system. And the funny thing about that AC system is it didn't work on the hottest days. So kind of sad when you know, it's like when you need somebody the most, they're gone. You know, like you got air in your tires, you lose all the air in your tires, and then AAA is actually, you know, observing a AAA holiday. I don't know if AAA observes any holidays, but that would be cool. Anyways, okay, yeah, enough talking. Okay, let me change my screen here because okay, so this is what I'd usually have. I'd be looking at myself, you guys, here. All right, first pose out of the T pose, right out of the gate. Mr. Ultimus here. He's Korean. He's not Korean, but he's from the Cree. He's part of the Cree race, so he is Cree. I wonder if they have barbecue. They'd have Korean barbecue. Probably long lines too. Wah, wah, wah. Hey, welcome. Welcome. If you are just joining me, I am showing you how I animate characters in Marvel Strike Force. You see my right leg is up. Right leg is up. Yeah, you guys with me here? Imagine, after 8 hours of this, I'd probably be almost done. So yeah, here, quickly, I'm just going to try to pose, you know, I'm not going to do the fingers. If I just want to do like a really bare bones, I'll just put the arm down in this position. You'll see it's kind of up. Give me the bend. I like to bend. Bend in the arm here. It's kind of obscured, you can't see. All right, cool. Bending this arm because you know it's back here. You know it's back here doing its thing. Can't hide from me. All right, you could see actually, usually when you're on one leg, your weight is actually going to be over the leg that's supporting your weight. FYI, if you're an animator or striving to be one, or even if you're trying to do posing. If you're posing, usually the weight goes above the leg, and if your weight is on that leg, your hip goes up like that. But too much, and that's no. This is just let's just say that's out of character. So you'd have something really subtle, but even the manliest man has hip sway. Okay, all right. Don't knock the hip sway. All right, anyway, so it looks like he's going this way. Let's pick it up. All right, so let's pretend my boss is like Lego. Pick it up. You've got poses, and all you're doing is speaking proses. All right, just kidding. No, I'm not. All right. First pose in the bank. So what we do is just basically, that's the first pose. Some animators, especially like in different, I guess for TV and stuff, you can get away with basically just going frame by frame, taking this and going like, hey, let's move like, you know, just a couple, let's move like 3 frames and then animate that frame and then go and then do that frame and then do that frame. Now that's going to be difficult and time consuming, but it is a legitimate method of animation. That's called straightforward animation, or straight through, not like post to post. But for video game development, what you want to do is you want to have like, how do I explain this? You want to put all the pieces together very quickly and throw it in the soup. You got to throw it in the soup and see if it tastes good. If the soup tastes bad, you take it out and you start the soup all over again. Because if you're the type of person to be like, no, you know, my particular ingredient, it's got to be, I got to spend 48 hours on it, that's really bad for video game development, because you spend that 48 hours just kissing your fingers, and somebody like your boss might come in and say, oh, you know what, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. What's up? Welcome. I'm just talking about, why we should export animations quickly in a game development environment. Quick iteration is really important. So I'll try out a pose if it looks weird. Sometimes if you're looking at a pose from top down, and you notice you can't see an arm properly, or you can't see a this or a that, your silhouette essentially looks bad. If you throw it in the game and see it quickly, you can take it out. So that's why we do that, and that's why we can't go pose to pose or straight through and animate this. Maybe big time baller boss animators do it like that, but it's really hard. Normally you want to just pick a few poses so that you can kind of convey the gist of your idea to your teammates, because as an animator in games, all we do is pose, right? The game actually makes this guy run around. The game is the one that kind of dictates how this person moves and how all characters move. And so you got to work with the VFX guys who adds the sparks that you saw like that, and you have to make sure the textures that you have applied to your model look good, because as you saw, this texture does not represent well what it should look like in game. This is kind of like a really low, kind of a really easily renderable version of this character, so that it can just play back smoothly. Sometimes back in the old days, you'd have to play it back like this, because machines just literally could not handle textures and geometry all moving at the same time, and basically how we get all that stuff figured out, that's for another stream. But let's do smooth shade again, and yeah. All right, so one thing I noticed is when I'm over here at my handy dandy picker thing, MG Picker Studio, holler, thank you. I don't know how many animation teams must use your picker thing, but I know quite a few, and it's really good, and it's free-ish. You can use a free version, but us at work, we actually paid for the license. Anyways, moving on. So here's my first pose. Nice. Hey, what? That's Chris. Chris, he is actually a tech animator. I don't know if you want me to put you on blast here, but he's a tech animator, tech artist, and he's one of the types that help, create these rigs and these little marionettes, and other things like tools and automation for stuff. I really do want to have him and talk to him on the show sometime. Yeah, so pay attention to things like this, that wouldn't show up in the game. So just got to say, this is not representative of how it would look. It would look like that other example I tried to show you earlier, which would be, again, just so you remember, something like that. So, he's got no weird hair stuff, and there's no line in his hair. So that's what it would look like. So, all right. Okay, so first pose, we got it, right? How many minutes are we into this? 26 minutes, one pose. Lego, you're fired. But I'm explaining to people. All right. Talking to myself. All right. Yeah, some of the individual animators may purchase third-party stuff, just like we purchase, chairs and mice and equipment for ourselves. Sometimes we like to do something, treat ourselves nice with some fancy tools. All right, so the second pose I'm gonna do, first pose is gonna be this one, and thankfully, I don't know if you knew this, but when you shoot with your iPhone, you're doing 20. iPhone is 30 frames a second. Sorry, it's 30 frames a second. So conveniently, I'm animating at 30 frames a second. So I could literally just do hey, okay, here's what we call the pass here, and then just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I like to put my poses, my key poses, especially when I'm blocking, whenever I have like a foot leave the ground or touch the ground, it helps convey weight when you're blocking. Sometimes if you don't pay attention to the feet, things feel really floaty. So on to pose 2. Now, if you guys are coming here through Marvel Strike Force, thank you for playing Marvel Strike Force, first of all. If you're coming here through, your interest in animation, thank you. If you're coming here because you're my family and I forced you to come here and I guilted you, thank you for coming. I hope to do more of these things, but just wanted to give my thanks again to everybody that showed up. We have 25 viewers. That is a lot for me. Use guys, thank you. Use all. All right, so second pose. Second pose. Let's see how fast I could do this. This is like gonna be like, all right. Okay. Pop quiz, hot shots. Okay, wait, how many frames was that? Did I say 5 or 10? Crap, I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's just do 7 or 8. Of course. Thank you. Thank you, my cousins. I'm so glad. Oh, my 2 Rays. 2 Rays and then Ray, my coworker Ray. Thank you, Rays. Rays of sunshine is what's going on in here. I don't care if that's corny because I love my family. All right, so, and my friends that all showed up because I was like, guys, please come and support me. Rattling my can. And they came. Okay, I'm going to change the influence because if you notice how this foot and this knee, they're not playing very nice right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the way how this follows here. Boom. I'm going to change the way you follow. And then while I'm at it, I'm just going to change the way these follow or don't follow my foot because it's annoying. So what I'm going to do is the behavior I want actually is like this. Not that, but if I zero this out and I move the foot, normally what happens is that let's say when you move your foot outwards like this, your knee should and usually does follow, and inwards. Now that's something that you can set up or ask your friendly rigger to set that up for you if you're animating. So that's going to help me. I'm just going to save this. Always a good idea to constantly be saving your work, people. I know I don't have to save this. This is just a stream, but it's ingrained in me. Every few minutes, just try to save your scene. And this is my laser beam stream scene. All right, check it out. This looks whack, right? It looks whack, but not. So, don't judge. Don't judge. Okay, so I know this is going to look funny, but what I'm going to do is I rotate his foot inwards just to get the proper rotation. And it looks like this back foot has rotated outwards. But the trick is the foot needs to be... Now, there's ways of automating this. You can actually do something like this. You can do something like that to keep the ball of your foot on the ground. But you don't have to. You can just do, my method of just like quick and dirty, because, you can just quick and dirty it right here. So, the ball of the foot has to stay here if you're rotating. So I would actually move that there. So you have like a natural rotation. So, oh, this is starting to look, ooh, he's like, ha-cha, 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 ha-cha. Anyway, no, I don't do that at work because that's unprofessional. I don't ever do things like that. Ha-cha stuff. That's dumb. Anyway, yeah, so here he is. I'm gonna extend his foot out, kind of like you see. Extend. Ha-cha, Kristen. Ha-cha! Ha-cha, ha-cha. Okay, so yeah, sometimes animators have fun when we're horchata. Oh man, it's almost my birthday, and that means it's almost time for tres leches cake. My favorite cake ever. Del mundo. Okay, so what I'm doing here. Alright, sorry. I was raised in a predominantly Mexican community. Okay, so let's see. If I were going to say quickly, I'd say he's not upright enough, right? But I would also say if I wanted to exaggerate, I'd put a little bit more twist. Because twist equals dynamism. Kind of. Yeah, twist, in the body, twist like when you have a painting, that always shows like some sort of like, dynamic move. Like, if somebody's in a twisting move, it's probably not boring. So yeah, thank you. Hey, Peter Griffin, thank you for coming in. It's not my birthday yet, but I like to eat tres leches cake from Portos, and I like to eat crabs from Redondo Beach. Anyway, enough about me, right? Let's talk about Ultimus and his hand pose, and he can go hacha hacha hacha. So he's getting his hand ready. He's getting that hand ready. I don't want to do the fingers right now, but oh, if you noticed, I've got to tilt my face down because my hat says so. Oh, and you'll notice that my shoulders kind of have like one shoulder's lower than the other, and those are always nice to kind of exaggerate if you can get the chance, because it'll just make things more interesting. Weight is on the back hip, so you're gonna have a little bit of this action. Boop, just a little bit, not too much. Not too much. Levels of sass too high. Too high level of sass. Okay, so we're bringing it down. Bring it down. I'm just showing you my stupid tricks that I like to do to entertain myself when I'm animating. One of my stupid tricks that I like to do is when I'm talking to somebody and I'm animating the face, I just like to do what I'm saying. Like if I'm talking to somebody at work, I'm just like, "Yo, dude. Hey man, did you import that? Oh, did you import that one animation? Yeah, thanks." Yeah, actually I never do that. That's like so unprofessional. I'll never do that in the workplace. Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes. Once I got a cake, I'll show you one of these days that my friend got me a Street Fighter cake, because if you know me, I love Street Fighter, and you can probably see Ryu in the background here somewhere. Oh, here he is. Yeah, they got a cake, and it was so awesome that it said, they were like, you know what, it's his birthday. Could you write happy birthday on it? Sure. I got the cake, and then my buddy was so embarrassed that it actually said happy birthday. They forgot the Y. Best cake ever. It even had my face. He photoshopped my face onto Ken and Ryu. So I was fighting myself on my own cake, and then I had to eat myself, and then that was like, moral issues. But happy birthday. I think I kind of wish that it was on every cake that I ever had. So anyway, back to Marvel Strike Force and the professionals that make them. All right, so this is that's the second pose I got. That was like 8 frames after this one, and this is enough to show the gist. But this is what you'd call your maybe anticipation. I'm anticipating this boom grab on the neck, so you can see my hands just kind of grabbing, that invisible face. I think I was incorrectly grabbing like it was the throat, but as they say, fix it in post, right? So my next pose would probably be, oh yeah, let's count. So this is 8 when my tippy toe is touching. So 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wow, it's fast. 5. So that's pretty quick from here to here. So let's just do that. We'll do 5 frames, but I didn't expect it to be that fast. I actually forgot it was that fast. So that's surprising to me. We usually like to keep the frame counts down, because the longer it takes for you to go from here to here, the more boring it'll be. And you'll see, actually, I'll show you what a difference timing can make. So animation is really all just poses and timing. So if you're here to check out Marvel Strike Force, this is Ultimus's Fatality. Not a lot of people actually have this character, so unless you've seen like some of the things like this is probably rare footage for the actual Marvel Strike Force player. I am also a Marvel Strike Force player. Not only do I make Marvel Strike Force, I am also a client. I'm also bald, but I'm not part of Hair Club for Men. Okay, so here it is. Boom, grab. Okay, so let's just try to analyze the differences between these two poses before I start. So here I'm more upright, and then I go boom, 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 settle down, my hips lower, my knees bend, and I'm more 50-50 weight distribution, kind of 60-40 weight distribution. So I'll have that reflected in my pose. And this is kind of cool. This shape that's going on right here, in animation, we like to do, you know, opposing shapes. So this C shape maybe could be, you know, is it more like that shape going into this shape? We'll see. Sometimes if it's just a strong enough pose, the shape is not that important. So yeah, bald can be beautiful. I'll tell you what, bald can save you on shampoo. It literally does. I actually, if I've been shaving since I've been 26, but you gotta, you know, you offset the cost with shaving supplies and razors. But, you know, my hair used to be curly. It wasn't, if you could imagine like a Filipino Ronald McDonald with brown hair, that's more in line of what I had going on. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 frames. I'll set a key here just so that everything on this thing is... Hey, where is my... Oh, restore. Oh, there you are. Okay, select all. Okay, so here's... I'll select everything, set a key, set a key. Set aquí, ven aquí, I'll set a key. A key right here. Alright, so check it out. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Here we go. I do want to give a shout out to the Filipino Ronald McDonalds out there. All of you. You know, all the Filipinos out there with hair that isn't silky and gorgeous like my cousins. All my cousins seem to have gorgeous hair. All my male cousins seem to be able to grow ravishing mustaches, and I can't. But this is not about my facial hair, you guys, okay? But it can be if we wanted to talk about it, because oh, what? I heard a sure you can. Thank you for that. Mike is raiding with a party. Okay, you guys, I'm pretty new to Twitch, but I recently found out about this raiding thing, and Mike, my cousin, my other cousin from the other side of my family, came in and raided with his stream. Thank you, all you guys, for Mike and B's stream. Thank you very much for coming in. I know that if you like my cousin Micah B, then you like his smooth voice, so I'll try to smooth it out for y'all like Mike B does. Mike B does have a smooth voice. He inspired me to get a good mic. Anyway, you guys usually come from Splatoon. I'm Mike Ligo. I am an animator on Marvel Strike Force, and I'm just showing you guys kind of my thought process. I'm only on my 3rd pose of I don't know how many poses, but I at least want to get you part of the way there. So, hey, yeah, check it out. We got a family reunion. A family reunion. We got 30 people on stream, and at least 29 of those are probably family. So thank you, family. Just kidding. No, we got my Street Fighter buddies here. They promised to make an appearance. That was so nice of you dudes. I'm going to cut this video together and post it up on YouTube, and hopefully it'll be more educational, more informative, less talking about, you know, my lack of facial hair, or, you know, maybe emphasis on my lack of facial hair. So yeah, Mike, thank you so much, dude. Thank you for coming. I'm just showing you my behind the scenes. This is my video I took of myself, and I'm just kind of copying my poses and going through the process of how I create an animation in a video game environment meaning quick, get some poses out, get the gist out. Don't do too much detail work is what I'm trying to show here. So yeah, so the foot actually moves further out. So what I'm gonna do is move you out. Okay, that's gonna look weird. Okay, it's gonna look like it's too cold in the swimming pool. But really, if you just move the hips forward and you move the thing down. Okay, actually, yeah, that's maybe that is too far. It's maybe too cold in the swimming pool. All right, so if you'll notice, his knee is actually not so outward. The knee actually is more in, so I must mind the knees. And you know, our talented riggers like Chris out there, he could do a ball twist like that, so you have like a more natural sort of angle on the foot. Oh, that's not what I want. All right, so check it out. Okay, so let's go up the body here. Looks like the hips are like this. This looks balanced. You got to make sure that it looks balanced. This does not look balanced. That looks like it should be like that. Balance is like literally balance. What does he look like when he's just standing over his own feet? If you want to zero out a controller, hit that 0 button. You can make your own template. You can set that up however you want. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll make VIPs. I'll make VIPs one of these days. But thank you. Everybody here is a VIP in my heart. Because you're all here to just like, you know, hang out during these stressful times. Let's not talk about too serious stuff. You know, maybe just facial hair. You know, how come I can't grow it? Like I would like a mustache, but you know, not always necessary. Here, I'm grabbing the fingers here. You know, one thing about mustaches, it's not good for kissing babies. I have to be so careful when I kiss my baby girl. Can't poke her. Yeah. Unless I had like vaccination stuff on my beard, then maybe I would grab all the joints at one time and just do scratchy. No, yeah, don't do that. That's not. Yeah, Mike is doing it. Hey, what's up, Ernie? Yeah, Mike B has a stream. You should check it out. And thank you, Banana Walker 3000. I know that you're on Mike's stream. I see. I like to watch or listen to Mike B's stream when I'm at work. Here, I'm fixing his shoulder. I'm gonna lower the shoulder because you know when he grabs, he's kind of like, you know, bringing it down. So always want to express the strength and the power when it's there. So part of that is actually bringing your shoulders back like a boss. Bringing them back, shoulders back. Because, you know, shoulders really affect how your posture is. If you walk into a room like this, you're just like, I don't know. If you walk into a room like this, they're like, bro, your pauldrons. Your pauldrons are penetrating your face. Alright, sorry. I get a little weird. Alright, check it out. So, and then this hand is down here because, you know, when you have a hand go out, you know, it's weird. There's like always, it's kind of like an opposite action that happens when you do martial arts or something like that. So that's what's going on. That's why this hand's coming down here. You know, not just for looks, for functionality. Not just for looks. Alright, so my legs are a little wider here. I don't know, maybe that could be cool. Maybe it's cool, but you know what? If I were at work, I'd say, you know, stick to the script, young man. Stick to the script, young LIGO. And follow the reference, because I probably would have already shown the team the reference, and they would have said, yeah, actually that's pretty good. Go in that direction. So they'd want to see me try this direction in earnest at least. I mean, I'd want to see that, so. Boom. All right, so you're going from here to here. Ka-chow, ka-chow. Pow, 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 pow. All right, so it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and ka-chow. Yeah, I tend to use multiple viewports. That's a really good question, Phantom Rigger 3D. It's almost like you're in the industry. Actually, I do use multiple viewports. One way I like to use multiple viewports is I like to set up a camera that essentially mimics what I got going on in the game. And that's something like this, right? So if I open this, so if you notice what my camera's doing here, that's kind of what, you know, this sort of angle is what I'm shooting for, you know, kind of seeing them from that sort of perspective coming down. So what I do is I'd set up a camera, and here's a nifty little trick. You can go into your panels, tear yourself off a little copy. You could tear yourself off a little copy, put it in the corner over here, go back to your perspective window, and then do whatever you want over here. But in your cute little corner cam, you're going to have what's going on. And I have to change the setting to update, but basically you'll have this. Hey, maybe Phantom Rigger could tell me how to make sure that every window updates when I scrub. Isn't that File, Windows, General Editors? Next time na lang. All right. But yeah. So this is what we have. 3 poses, okay? So this actually might be enough to check into the game. So if I do this and I play it, because we've spaced it out similar to the video, look what happens. We've got something that feels like something. So that kind of feels like what's going on in the video. So very simply, you have like that first step in. You have that first Shazamo, Kablamo. Yeah, so that's like your first step, right? And then draw the rest of the owl. No, yeah, but actually, yeah, that's that's really all. Okay, preferences, time slider, playback. Let's do it. Preferences, time slider. Is this in animation? Time slider, playback. And it's going to be one of these. Okay, playback, channel box sync. Sync timeline display? Is that it? Save? No. Cruds. Time slider. Is it display? Okay, next time. I know I said that, but I thought it was easy. Update view? Oh. Okay. Time slitter. And then update view, baby. All you gotta do is update view. So this is gonna make it so that every view is active. And now when I hit play, look it. Thank you. And this is when he doesn't work. Actually, this is a really good example of what this is exactly how it goes down at work, actually. Where it's like, Chris, how come it's not working? My screen doesn't update. He's like, all right, bro, I got you. Stop talking like that. And then he'll tell me how to do it. And I stop talking like that too. All right, so here it is. Check it out. So this is boom. All right, so you're stepping in, and this is the first thing. But let me show you what timing does to poses. All right, so this has a certain feel. Okay, so timing is basically the space in between all of your keyframes, right? These are like your in-betweens. You'll notice I have a frame at 0, a frame at 8, and a frame at 12. And so the time it takes to get from 8 to 12 is less because there's less frames in between. But if I were to do something crazy and move all my keys, I'm going to select all these keys with this handy dandy select all key. And I'm going to do this and slide that last frame that we were working on way out here. All right, so let's say, okay, so that's at 12. Let's add, 15 frames, a half a second to that. So that would be like, cool. So half a second to that. Let's see how that feels. Oh, suddenly The end is like, oh, he's in jello. Oh, it's so slow. I'm going to exaggerate that for you just so you could see what moving a pose 1 second does. So let's just go somewhere-ish around here. Okay, actually, I was 1 frame off. So check it. And so now there's 1 frame, okay? And so if I wanted to get crazy and just spread everything out, you'll see really quickly how fast this animation can be ruined. No, just kidding. But yeah, I'm pretty much ruining. This is not okay unless they were like, Lego, could you animate a character in a liquid with very high viscosity? So yeah, there you go. No, that's not what we want. It's not what we want. Okay, so I'm just going to Control Z until I see all my frames back into their happy place. So it's here. Boom. Okay, the inverse is true, but if you wanted to make something look snappy, like you wanted it to pop, the inverse would be true. So you would select all the keys and actually bring them together. So moving it 2 frames in, that's a little bit faster. Sorry. And then let me bring this in. This is going to be faster, and this will feel a lot faster. So sometimes when the game is moving too fast, or you know, sometimes we can't do these moves at the speed a normal human can do them, you just film them slowly and then you slide your keys around as necessary. But let's move it on, because I think you guys are kind of getting the gist of what an animator does. And I'll just kind of, just so that you can have some completion, I'll do a couple more poses for you. So from here to here, this is actually quite easy, right? So if I were to go, all right, that's my grab, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know how many frames. Let's just say this much. That's a really iconic pose. If I would be remiss to not include that on my blocking pass for the peeps at work. So you want to really show your teammates clearly what you're thinking as an animator, because sometimes you kind of have the say on how it all goes down. The brainstorm session that we have, usually before the character is launched, you know, we try to all come up with, as a group, a collective, to think of cool moves that this guy can do. But sometimes the ideas just don't line up with technology that we have, or the limitations of our technology. And so I'm going to put this keyframe out here, because it's like he stops, lifts, and it takes a good long while. But basically he goes into this pose right here. So now that I have that saved on the side, I can load up my picker. Hit F to frame it. And so what I'm going to do is, essentially, that pose was copied, and I know that he just lifts his hips up as he's doing this pose. He's like up and this way. And then also his body. I'm going to zero this out by hitting the 0 button, and this removes all rotations. And that's a convenient way to get your guy back to basically the home pose. It's like a home pose. It's like that A pose that you saw earlier, where, all right, remember what I said about, I think they call it contrapposto stance. Anyway, if the shoulder is up going this way, angled going like that way, I'd probably want my hips going the other way to have some dynamic sort of line going through it. And then I'd raise the shoulder, this guy, and then, you know, you gotta move the head, blood ow. It's okay, this is okay. If you have some of this clipping, sometimes we could fix it with like head movement, but I don't know if what we shipped with was like that. Normally I'd probably just like rotate it in just to avoid the clippage, but I could even move his eyeballs to be more in line with what he should be looking at. Like, here's looking at you, kid. All right. And if this is a pose that he's doing, my mouth, it looks like I'm, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm sucking air, smelling my upper lip. I don't know if I'd want to do that, but I think just to be funny, since this is not going in the game, let's see if we can try to emulate that smelling my lip sorta. Okay, no, I shouldn't do that. That's maybe not the best look for our cool characters, you know, but there would be tension in the lip, that's for sure, you know. We'd go like, oh, thank you very much. But you do. Smells like, but what? Ang bastos naman. Okay, so that means dirty mind. Okay, so yeah, angry. I can control these. Angry. So yeah, that's how I control the face, and then obviously rinse repeat with all the things. But you'll see he's grabbing like this. He's looking over here, and then angry. So you'll notice I'm actually not even animating anything in between this vast. You're getting all that kind of stuff for free, but it's not perfect. You don't always get that for free, so. So here we go. Here's the head. Boom. Moving it up. Boom. All right. So you go boom and then lifting up. All right. So already I know it feels like he does the grab and then lift up too quickly because I didn't put anything to space that out. So once he grabs, there was like a stop there. There was like a settle. So what I'm going to do is go back to that keyframe, copy it, right mouse click, have another keyframe, and duplicate it. So now these two keyframes are the same. And when I go in between these two frames, there's a pause. And now this closer to basically what's going on in here, where he does like a step and it's like kind of a pause. You'll actually see my body rocks back and forth, and there's really no hard stops unless you're Ultron. But even Ultron has like lifelike movements. So here's a little tip. If you're doing from one pose to another, you're gonna know that nobody just stops right there. And this is where animators really kind of make their money. What we're gonna do is what we call a secondary animation, or like an overshoot. And so you'll notice that this looks unrealistic. Boop! It's like, machine, I must lift and stop and then pick up. That's not what you want to do. So look, you could solve that by simply taking your hips. You know they stop at this frame. My next frame, I'll move them forward, because you know when you stop moving, an object in motion wants to stay in motion. And so it goes down, and then maybe it'll move back up. It'll kind of go back to here. So if I play it, boom. So that already feels a little bit more natural, but it feels like he's compressing onto like a shock. So I actually wouldn't do it that way. I would Control Z. So he stops here. Yeah, that's too much. So if he goes and stops, boom. I would actually maybe experiment with just having the overshoot be here, and then having this like that back here, move him back, move it a few frames into the future, and then move it forward. So essentially what you're getting is boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. So let's see if that looks natural here. More natural, not the most natural. So it's like boom, and it comes up here fast. So I'm going to slow down that, and I'm going to move this back over here. So hopefully now that's cha-cha-cha. That's a more realistic bounce, okay? So that I'd buy as a more realistic bounce. If you wanted to get sassy with it, again, there's a lot of tricks you can do with getting your hips involved. I don't like that. Control Z, Control Z. Okay, so anyway, you get the point. He's like lifting up the hand. He's lifting up the hand. What happens to this backhand? Oh, so the backhand kind of goes like this. Or cha-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta. Hey, what's up, JP? JP Holland. Hey, he's my drift buddy. I go to the track and sometimes I drift my little Japanese car, my little rear-wheel drive Japanese car. I get all slidey boy action with my buddy JP here. We're going. Thank you for the comment on my bounce. We're going August 11th. We're going to be drifting our cars on a racetrack. If our drift teacher will get back to us, he actually hasn't. He said it's going to be available, but he actually hasn't confirmed. But I already approved the day off. But anyway, so that back arm, you see how it's like basically supinating. If you want to get medical, so here's some supination. The only reason why I know that is because it's like when you're drinking soup, you spin your arms out this way, and that's supination of your hands. And then the other way is like when it's called pronation, and I don't know of any professional way of remembering how to do that. Anyway, so here you go. Boom. Oh, it looks like he's lifting him up a little slow. You're going to have to forgive my friend here. Dumb and Dumber quote. This anim's a little slow here, so... Alright, so from here to here, he's maybe going a little too slow. I mean, yeah, fast, too fast. Fast, slow, no, Alright. So I'm going to slow down this pose to this pose, because you know what? That's going to help with the drama. Ah, more dramatic already. Picking you up, and then slowly looking into your eyes before I frickin' laser beam your face. All right, so here's this. Okay, it's been an hour. It's been an hour. We have these poses. This is actually pretty close to what I'd want, but if I take a look at what I'm trying to convey to my buds at work, pick up, and then he does one of these, and then he does like a little, kind of like a, if you're happy and you know it, stomp your foot right here. So I just happy and I know it, and I stomp my foot, and then I go into that pose. Okay, so if I were to show my coworkers, all right, this is my idea. To me, to convey that, I need two more poses, and the two poses are this one and the last one, and then after that we can just roll up into Q&A, or I can just start playing some Street Fighter and you guys can watch me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I could roll up into some Q&A if we have some Strikeforce people that are watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing Strikeforce again. I'm Mike Ligo. I'm an animator on this lovely game that I got to work on. I had the pleasure of working on, and I still get to work on. I actually still play every day, working on my Brotherhood, my X-Men team. I want to download BlueStacks so I could play my phone games on this. So let's go to this pose right here. Right there. Oh, okay. I love it when I can stop at a pose where it's kind of like halfway between. So this is kind of like the extreme. This is like my extreme of this pose. So all I'm doing is my weight is moving even more forward as my hip is beginning to rotate inward. See that hip? See, I like to look at my if I have a belt buckle, that really helps. But right now I'm looking at kind of like that fold where your zipper is. That line is actually crucial, and it really helps an animator see, one, what my private parts are doing, and two, which way the hip is actually facing. So I can see that my hip is kind of here, and then now it's back that way, and then we've got some not safe for work jiggle that I will reduce in size to not offend anybody's eyes. And the hips don't lie. No, the hips actually do not lie in martial arts, and they don't lie in animation either. The hips are a big part of everything we do in martial arts and animation and dancing and anything that kind of requires you to shake that body. Okay, so we're gonna do little toesies. My little toesies. My little toesies up. Okay, so this one's kind of easy, so I'm just gonna duplicate this pose, move it up a few frames, Remember I talked about my hips doing a little bit more forward, a little bit more in to exaggerate the in. Oh, let's see. Am I twisting inwards? Am I twisting to the left or to the right? So if I'm curling in, weird. It looks, on a minute scale, I'm actually twisting to the right. And these are the things you look for as an animator. How can I push? Push what I got. Push my lame video into something that's worthy of a boss who can blast people off with his hand from their face. I like to grunt. All right, so. Okay, so yeah, if you look from here to here, my chest is actually kind of rotating to the right, so that's a little surprising. If I were to have to make this move up, I don't think I would have slightly rotated my chest to the right like that. And then quick time. It's quick time. I'm looking for you. Ha, same pose as Iron Man here. That's kind of funny. Okie dokie. So it looks like also... Oh no, wait. This is not the pose. Here's the pose. Here's the pose. Now I also got to be wary of what my arms are doing because they're doing stuff. All right. So that back arm has definitely made a huge pose change, and that should be reflected in here. And I'm going to try to just burn through this. It's been an hour. You know, my family's eyes are bleeding. My friends' eyes are bleeding. Ears are bleeding. Blood everywhere. All right, so Ultimus he actually is moving he's bending his arm a little more, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna freaking beam your freaking face, you guy. All right, this foot. Okay, I'm just gonna do the cheater way. I don't usually like to do that, but you can do that. Boom, easy way, easy money. Easy money, says Mike Ligo. Save money, save time. Save money, save time. All right, so I guess my hips that always tell the truth here are, my truthful hips are up like this. I'd probably want to close his mouth, or maybe at least I'll just zero this out. So he's like, If I want to make an angry mouth, sometimes I just bring the legs together and then you just go, lips up. Sorry. I could do that all night. Just All right, so just that. Let's just do that. All right. No more out of me. Ha ha ha. Hut hut. So he's like, cha cha cha. Okay, so that's my little anticipation pose. He's like, rah. He's doing this. Actually, I kind of want to just exaggerate this. And then we're going to move into this pose, guys. Finish line is almost here. Now, here's an interesting point. You're going to want to make sure you animate this arm before the hip moves. So, or the hip goes, turns, and then the arm hits, but then everything settles afterwards. But right now, what I do is just focus on this pose. But when I actually do, the work, I'd make sure I stop on this pose. I always thought this was funny. The light coincidentally was right here. I didn't plan this, but I knew I was going to be shooting light out of my hands. But I thought that was a bit serendipitous, if you ask me. This is something really cool. Just the folds in my shirt is something that animators like to geek out on, although we don't have fabric in this game. I know cool games like, you know, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Warzone. Those games have cool cloth in their games. I have a friend that works on it. He might be watching this stream, but like when Ryu throws a Hadouken, that cloth right there, I geek out on that stuff. Like that is what makes, when the body stops moving and the clothes keep moving, that's where animators make their money. Just letting you know. So yeah, but you'll notice that there's a bounce here. I hit the pose, and then I bounce down, and then it bounce up, and then sorry, down ever so slightly. Thank you for those that have joined me this far. I'm really close to showing you what I would basically export for my teammates at work. So Ultimus is gonna go into that last pose. We've already got this, like, you know, like this boom, this Freddie Mercury, like, you know, he's like, we will rock you. Anyway, that happens more than I'd like to admit at work when I have situations like that. Okay, then boom, right into the quick time pose of Mr. Serendipitous Light Source. And here it is. Serendipitous Light Source with super strong pose. Okay, I'm going to try to find the extreme. Okay, is that the extreme where the arm is all the way out? Usually when the arm is fully out, yeah, that's the extreme. So you go boom, and then, you know, when you're working on the details, the other 7 hours that you get for this animation, you would do the little bend right there on the arm, and then the straight. So it's a bend, straight, and then bend, straight, bend. So happens real quick. Stuff that you'll want to handle. Okay, so anyway, back. Let's get down to business. To defeat the Huns. Did they send me daughters? How messed up is that, by the way, those lyrics? I think that's why they couldn't do the Donny Osmond song in the new Mulan that's never going to get released. Just kidding. Never say never. I mean, I hope it gets released. So I'm copying this foot. I don't know. I should have been talking here, but I'm taking my right foot. You take your right foot, and I can copy this frame, so I don't have to basically manually put it back where it was. And so that's how one can save money, save time. Oh, actually, it's this. Boom. Okay, so it's that. All right. Okay, so I got multiple keys. Okay, so, and then ka-chow. This is going to be here. Yeah, so if you got any questions while I'm working, right now I'm just going to focus on basically putting this guy into the pose you see right there. So I'll be looking at the chat. Do
you have any questions on why you think I can't grow facial hair like my cousin Paul, and might be probably genetics? You know, you can put that in your chat, your ideas on why I can't grow facial hair. Or if you have any ideas or home remedies that I can apply to my upper lip for some taco deficiency. Yeah, dude, I'll eat more tacos. You don't have to promise mustache growth for taco consumption. If you know me, you know I like food. And if you know I like food, you also know that tacos are food. And if tacos are food, I don't know where I'm going with it. I just like doing those logic leaps. Alright, if tacos are food, then everything's food. Alright, this mouth is a mad mouth. You know you got mad mouth. Alright. Yeah, super long. Yeah, you know, the only mustache I grow, speaking of defeating the Huns, the only mustache I really grow is like the bad guy from Mulan, the Hun. It's not a good look. My wife, I think she tells me to grow that mustache so that, that I don't look good. But she tells me that, no, I'm so handsome with that, catfish, she doesn't call it catfish, but, she tells me I'm so handsome, and I keep growing the catfish because, it's like, oh, so handsome. But really, it's just because, it's repellent. I think it is, it's because she's a smart woman. She knows. Alright, so here, suddenly, we're in the realm. Boom, 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 yeah, there it is. There's the pose. I'd probably even rotate this more, rotate that more. Boom, boom.
Maybe I could move this back. Alright, so here we are, folks. We've got these poses that make up this animation. I'm going to turn off these things. So this is the move here. Boom. And he's like, boom. So it's a little shorter than I remember. I don't know if we're slowing it down in the game with slow-mo, but this is kind of like a blocked-in version. Oh, you see? Now, tell me if you see something that doesn't really look right. Now, I don't know about you, but that last part is looking a little gentle. He's like, I'm not going to laser beam your face. I'm going to put you know, I'm just gonna dab your face with this cotton ball. Looks like you got some makeup on there. Let me just dab, dab, dab-a-rooney on your face. No, that's not what we want. That's not indicative of a guy who could capture whole universes, okay? So to make it more in line with his character, we want to have more of a snappy sort of thing. And granted, my keys are spaced out here, so you'll see 98 to 104, that's a lot of frames in between. But if I remember correctly, there was only like 5 frames here. So he goes into here and then steps in. All right, so what I actually want this pose to hold a little longer. So right here, I'll do a slow out, and I'd like to do that real quickly by just setting a keyframe a few frames away, grabbing that key and sliding it out, and suddenly you have an insta slow out. You can do the same thing for slow in. Actually, it's not working. I don't like that. I'm just going to put this pose, this final pose, very, very close to this last pose. And I'm going to slow into this last pose by setting that keyframe right there, sliding it out, and you'll see he'll kind of do a little hold here. It's almost like a moving hold. And then does the kachowie. All right, so boom, lifts up, kachowie. But I think that should all be a little bit slower, And this is what I do. I basically set my frames. And then I try to make it look, you know, somewhat interesting. And so that's kind of what I'd export into the game. And in the game, all they would see on an export is this. Let me show you under the curtain a little bit. This is actually all that you see in the game. So when I export, I actually really kind of do love looking at this stuff. When you export this, this is really all they see. These are like the bones that the character has. And I think this is like this is like the skirt. It's the skirt bone for the front of the skirt. So, you know, it wasn't what, you know, some of you might have been thinking, but I don't think we actually animate his skirt. I could be wrong. So let me see. If I select this bone, there's no controller on it, but if I select that bone, does the skirt move? Oh, it does. Oh, wow. So here's another control I could have been messing with. I like to do little things like this. So like if the skirt's coming in, I'll like set frames where I think it's going to be lagging behind. So about right here, you would expect a skirt to be like doing something like that. So skirt does that, and then over here, because he stopped, you'd expect the skirt to do something like that. But it's not really a skirt, and it looks like metal he's wearing, so I think that's why we didn't. And then go a few frames back, and then if you do that right, it'll look like wet cloth maybe, or like, I don't know, that kind of maybe that doesn't fit with the type of thing it is, but that's how you'd like do secondary animation. And that actually is really bothering me right now, so I'm going to remove it. But other secondary animation that I do is on the shoulders and stuff. But this is it. Yeah, all that stuff that you saw would be basically represented by the position and rotation of all of these bones. If you notice here in this little square, I don't know if you can see it, but it just has like, you know, rotation values, rotation and position values. And all that's getting exported is all of that stuff. Every single frame. Translate XYZ, rotate XYZ, every single bone, every single frame. And that's really all animation is. So now that you've seen like an hour-ish, hour and a half blocked-ish animation, I'm going to take you back to the beginning where I showed you what it looks like in the game, and then we could start, you know, getting some closure to this little shindig here. So here it is. Here's what I thought it would look like. In the game, I think he's actually more like this. Or is it like this? Oh, actually, maybe in the game, he's facing the other way, too. I might have animated it the other way, which I think is true. So we'll see. And so here's the final product-ish, right? and it might have been reversed in the other way, but that's okay. It's gonna look something like that. Final is something like this. So I'll try to play it once for you, and then I'll show you all the things that you maybe don't see. All right, so now, and that whole animation, the cape is done procedurally, but to basically take it from what you saw today to finish it out might take the whole rest of the day. You know, like 7 more hours, essentially 6 more hours to finish. But really, I'm literally a poser. Literally a poser, and here's. Okay, so if I can break this down. So what happens after the fact, right? So I export the animation in the game. You know how he runs up to there? That wasn't included in my animation because that's actually a separate thing that gets run by the game. And he's playing a run animation. And now my animation starts, and the VFX artist and the tech artist, they trigger the full screen background, and also we trigger a custom camera that brings in, you know, this sort of thing. Cameras you can animate just like everything else. Sometimes we can export them, sometimes we can't. And in this case we could. Or I think the designer actually was able to. And of course, when I animated this, I believe I did have a hit reaction to go from. But I don't have that on me right now, and I'll show you another time. But you'll notice there's like a little bit of moving holds. There's a swaying. But this is like, you know, the facial reaction. And right there, with the push and the return to the idle pose, all that stuff. Oh, the camera shake is something they added too. So the VFX, you'll see, you know, the little cards streaming from this guy's face. But, you know, the camera really adds a lot. You know, the animation itself is simple, but the background with the whooshing lines and all that stuff with the shaking camera really takes something that looks kind of simple and really spices it up. And I think that's how we on Marvel Strike Force were able to differentiate ourselves from the competition by, you know, creating cinematic moments like this. So that's kind of how this, you know, how it's made. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you found it interesting. I'll be making a YouTube video of this, cut together, more concise, hopefully funnier, take out all the singing and funny parts. But if you have any questions, hit me up. You can reach me on Twitter or Instagram. You know, but thank you all for coming in, tuning in. Thank you all for playing Marvel Strike Force. The whole team appreciates it, and I hope to do more of this if you find this entertaining. Please, just you can message me or leave in the comments of the YouTube when it's up, you know, what you like, what you didn't like. I like hearing feedback. If it's negative, that's good because, you know, it came from somewhere. You know, you're passionate about it. You know, if you're empathetic and you don't even care, then that's even worse than if you hate it. If you hate it, there's at least an emotion there. And maybe even some nugget of information I could take. So, oh, thank you. Thank you, family. Thanks for joining. I'll be here if you have any questions. I feel like I should hang out for a few minutes in case there are any questions. But if not, you know, I'll just take it easy, take it breezy. Thank you, cousins. Curly Chicharron is my wife. Thank you, my wife. Thank you. I'm glad that it was informative and interesting. It was really heartwarming for my friends and family to come out. And next time I won't force you to do it. But next Thursday, I think every Thursday night at 9, I want to have at least some sort of art stream. It could be maybe myself streaming about my art, or even other Marvel Strike Force team members on the stream to talk about, you know, their work. You know, we've had a lot of people on the team actually visit the stream today, so that would be really nice to have y'all come in and talk. You know, we could talk about stuff. Should be really cool. But yeah. I'm glad you like to see the process. Beverly, thank you for letting your friend, he's the one who designed, my whole thing here. So my background and everything. Lewis, I believe Zavala. Anyway, he did all my logos and stuff. So thank you to them. Thank you to all of you playing Strikeforce again and watching. So I usually like to stream like Street Fighter stuff, but I really love, showing people, Strikeforce. Maybe you could become an animator yourself and message me and try to get feedback, because true story, one of our animators back when I was working on League of Legends used to message me for feedback, and not through only my efforts, but that animator actually went on her own journey to seek feedback from other people, not from people including myself and other animators. She went on to animate for Ninja Turtles the show, so it was like I was living vicariously through her, and now she works on Marvel Strike Force. So I'm not promising anything, but we do have an example of somebody who didn't animate before, hits me up for information, and is suddenly now working on the same team as I am. So hey, you never know. It could work. It could happen. So yes. Luis, or Luis is the proper way to pronounce it. So Luis Zavala. So thank you. Shang-Chi, thank you. You are an inspiration to me. He's one of our fellow animators on the team. He's also a martial artist. Filipino animator, martial artist on the team. Marvel Strike Force has a couple of those, but animator martial artists, we have all four of us have studied in some sort of martial art at some time or another. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Shang-Chi, we're all in the same Marvel Strike Force Alliance. If you want to join it, it's LKM 818 in parentheses. Or what are those brackets? Yeah, anyway. It's actually not easy to find, but we're called the Credible Hulks. I believe we might have stole it from another place, but since we have the tag in front of it, it's ours. I don't know. But yeah, I somehow have more viewers after the stream is over, which is funny, but thank you for joining. If you're just joining, I am a 3D animator named Mike Ligo on Marvel Strike Force. I just finished showing the process of animating Ultimus's Fatality using video reference. And if you're just joining, here's the video reference kind of playing alongside it while it's going. And you can see kind of like, what happened in the game. Let me just open this one. Is this... yeah. And this is the game, how it goes down in the game. Oh, this is the boring camera, isn't it? It is. But this actually gives you more insight on what I actually had to animate that you might not see because of the camera. One thing I hope you don't notice, I shouldn't even mention because this is something that you can't unsee to my 37 viewers. You'll notice that his feet are kind of moving around when he's picking up the dude. Now, your eyes usually aren't going to be there, but that's because of compression. We have to compress our animations to save space on the disk, or to save space when it comes to computation. So that's a small thing that animators have to deal with. Sometimes, the way you intended your art to come out, it's not, a full one-to-one sort of realization of your vision. So that can be a little frustrating, but in the end, if you're an animator for games, you know that fun trumps everything. Oh, I shouldn't use trump. Fun is above everything. Fun always above everything. Just kidding, Auntie. Just kidding, Auntie, about that. Anyway, fun is always number one. Anyways, oh yeah, yes, thank you all again. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna go help my wife with the baby. I hope baby's not crying downstairs. So, yeah. Catch you next time. And next Thursday at 9, I'll be doing something similar. And check my schedule. I'm going to be doing a talk show with Live Bait pretty soon. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. See you next time. And then the awkward. I should have a hotkey. Yeah, end stream. Awkward end stream button. Thanks, everybody. Bye.